April, in which we discussed Bill Gates' vaccine initiative, not even specifically related to the COVID vaccine, just that Bill Gates has been promoting vaccines for years, and that this is connected, or there was an article that we referenced last April that connected to a group called ID 2020, which wants to build a global ID database, which would contain all information, your health information, health records, vaccine records, and so forth. And so this, again, this was sourced information. We don't get into speculation. Sharon and I, we're not in the mainstream of thought. We're certainly not going to fit in with Fox News or anything like that. But by the same token, we don't rely on internet level research. In fact, we got a lot of pushback from people who follow SkyWatch TV because we said specifically, the COVID vaccine is not the mark of the beast. And you have to read the book of Revelation because you see there's a lot of stuff that happens before. Where's the beast? The beast has to be here for the mark of the beast to roll out. Now, this may look like what the mark actually looks like, but the vaccine is not the mark. Secondly, mRNA vaccines do not change DNA. That's not how human biology works. It's not how biology works. DNA encodes RNA, not the other way around. That's just high school biology. And because we said that, there were people out there. In fact, one ministry I won't get personal about it, but actually accused SkyWatch TV in general and me specifically of being an agent of the Israeli government for saying that. I don't see how that follows. Anyway, the point is, we didn't say anything that wasn't backed up by a mainstream news article. Last April, when that show first ran, it was fine. And yet this time around, it was spiked. YouTube deleted that new episode, left the old one up there, but deleted the new one for spreading medical misinformation. I challenged it, said, we didn't even talk about COVID vaccines on the program. Not specifically, we weren't saying anything about the COVID vaccine or in its efficacy or lack thereof, but it didn't matter. YouTube decided it was wrong think, and so they spiked it. And here we are like a week and a half later, and they just deleted the entire channel. Now, we saw this day coming because we're not the first ones to be targeted, so I'm not crying poor us or anything like that, just making you aware of what's going on here. YouTube decided to cancel SkyWatch TV because they don't like our theology and or politics. They've gone after other ministries before. Josh Peck, who's like the nicest guy you'll ever want to meet, they canceled his Daily Renegade channel, basically for the same reason. And it's not because he's harassing or threatening or cyberbullying anybody. It's just they don't like his content because he's openly Christian, as are we. So, and we've seen this from other video content providers as well. Vimeo has done this. They were spiking some of our Sci Friday episodes, again, for allegedly making claims which we never said. In fact, one of the episodes they pulled, I re-uploaded with a new title, and they let it slide. So, whatever. But they also interrupted a virtual conference, actually a couple of virtual conferences from a couple of different ministries, friends of ours. One of them was because I did a presentation on the spiritual backdrop of the BLM practice of saying the name of those who have fallen in confrontations with the police. Their ritual, and that's what it is. It's a ritual. And I even played in my presentation video clips of the co-founder of BLM and the head of the Los Angeles chapter talking about this ritual where they literally are summoning the dead. They believe that they're summoning the spirits of the dead in their words. And I put that video clip up there so it wasn't me saying it. I couldn't be accused of twisting their words because that's them on the screen saying it. And then just pointing out that this is almost identical, or at least very, very similar to the ancient Kispum ritual of the Amorites of Abraham's day, where they had to summon their ancestors by name to a ritual meal, pour out a drink offering in order to feed them in the afterlife. It's the same thing that was going on 4,000 years ago. That was the point of my presentation, but that got a an entire conference yanked offline by Vimeo. Another one from another. So anyway, the point is, we saw this day coming. We backed up all the videos to a Christian company called Subsplash. They're the ones that serve up the videos for our Roku and Apple TV channels. It's also the mobile app. So all of that comes from Subsplash. So all of the content is there. Now, I will say this, Unraveling Revelation, kind of got caught on that one, that the archives for Unraveling Revelation are current back through last June. I'm going to have to go and re-upload the stuff from the previous year, from July of 2019 through June of last year. I'll do that on Monday at the office. But other than that, YouTube thought they were going to really put a hurt on us by knocking out 2,000 videos of ours. Didn't happen. They're all online, and we've moved over to Rumble. So SkyWatch TV now has a channel at Rumble. All new content will go at rumble.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes. The archives are all available at skywatchtv.com. Go to SkyWatch TV if you want to see the archives. Everything there should be good, with the exception, like I said, of the YouTube or the Unraveling Revelation archives. But everything else that's there should be good. This, though, is just another reminder that we are in a spiritual war, and that the folks who think that they have a monopoly on access to information via the internet are becoming more and more bold about exercising their power to cut us off one from another. And so there are other options out there. Subsplash is one. Rumble is another. There are other channels out there that are finding workarounds to get around YouTube, to get around Vimeo, to get around Daily Motion and other video content services. And we're just going to have to get used to, we should be canceling YouTube. I mean, YouTube has canceled outspoken ministries like SkyWatch TV and others. Why do we still keep going to YouTube to look for funny cat videos, for example? Because that's why YouTube exists. They sell ads. And if we keep giving them eyeballs, they're going to keep making money. So why not go to Rumble, where they're a little more friendly to conservative voices and conservative Christian voices, or just bypass it altogether. Download the free mobile app for SkyWatch TV. Got an iPad, got an Android tablet, smartphone. You can bring all of that content right into your device. Bypass these gatekeepers and just carry us around with you. Besides, the mobile app not only has the video content, it's got news that Tom Horn curates 3 times a week. And it's stories that most of the mainstream media would just as soon you not read. So that plus a calendar of upcoming events, you'll find links to the app stores at skywatchtv.com. But that's the reason you're not seeing SkyWatch TV on YouTube anymore. It's because YouTube just unilaterally decided we were apparently a threat to society. So praise God, count it all joy. It means we're over the target, especially because it was talking about child sex trafficking, the evils of abusing children, that triggered YouTube into yanking SkyWatch TV's channel. Isn't that interesting? Well, less than 2 weeks away from the launch of SkyWatch TV's Defender Conference, Rise 2021, at midnight, or 12:01 a.m., if you will, on June 18th. 50 hours of presentations will be available to you to binge watch on your schedule, binge to your heart's content for 90 days, June 18th through September 18th. The cost is $95. Tom Horn's presentation alone is 2.5 out of those 50 hours. But he's the man, so no worries there. And Josh Peck is doing the production on this. It'll be like last year's presentation. It will essentially be a documentary by the time Josh is done with it. Best-selling authors like Joel Richardson, Mark Biltz, Carl Gallups, dynamic speakers like Jamie Walden, Bishop Ron Webb, Dr. Michael Lake, Rabbi Zev Porat, prophecy experts Troy Anderson, Colonel David Giammona, archaeologists, Dr. Scott Stripling, who heads up the dig at Shiloh in Israel, Dr. Judd Burton, Dr. Aaron Judkins, Ken Johnson, talking about his research into the Essenes. Josh Peck has done 3 presentations. dealing with the material in his forthcoming book on the Essenes and what they saw coming in the end times. I've got material coming for my forthcoming book, Saturn's Reign, on the occult symbolism built into the art and architecture of the United States Capitol. This really builds on Tom Horn's book, Zenith 2016, and takes it even further. So that and much more. Jimmy Evans, another end times prophecy expert, geopolitics expert, Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, and more. Sign up online, defenderconference.com, defenderconference.com. And then come September, we are looking to be in California. And as of now, things are looking really good. The Warriors Conference from Hear the Watchman, September 16th through 18th at the Legacy Resort Hotel and Spa in San Diego. This is a Christian-owned hotel. As of right now, the Transportation Safety Administration is saying that there will be no more mask mandate as of September 15th. So just in time for this conference, no more mask mandate. And the hotel has advised Mike and Jeannie at Hear the Watchman that the limit on the crowd has been lifted. So whereas before they were saying a maximum of 200 in the hotel, now 600. So we can actually get back together. The Warriors Conference, September 16th through 18th at Legacy Resort Hotel and Spa in San Diego. Sharon and me, Pastor Paul Begley, Colonel David Giamono, David Heavener, who, by the way, is also contributing a presentation to the Rise 2021 virtual conference, and more. And you can find out more online at hearthewatchmen.com, hearthewatchmen.com. Appreciate you taking time out to listen to this program wherever you're finding us. That's Spreaker, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify. Appreciate you taking the time out and inviting us into your ears. Our announcer is DC Good, and A View from the Bunker is a production of Gilbert House, released under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. We do this because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is A View from the Bunker.